Hey everyone, it's What's Cooking, and we're going to do a little different today. I have a special guest who just had an emergency request to be on a radio talk show at 5 o'clock. So I'm going to do a little cooking, and he is actually already here. I think, oh, Philip needs to turn his volume off. Okay, I think I just saw Jay show up. I'm here. Okay. All right. All right. So Jay is going to be on here right away, which is awesome.
Hello, everyone.
Hey!
So sorry. They literally were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We got someone else." All the time I was talking with you, so here I am. And look,
I love it.
I know. First of all, I tried to match my shirt to your hair color. I didn't quite hit the nail on the dot, but at least we're somewhat coordinated.
I love it. I love it. And you know, I matched my dress to your hair color.
I love it. Look at that.
With my fancy dancy pink slippers.
I know it's party on the top and then just casual on the bottom with shorts and sneakers. So I feel you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I said, you know, the shirt sales are going crazy and the bottom sales are all going down the tanks.
I feel bad. I was saying I feel bad for the lipstick business. Like, who's putting on lipstick when you have to wear so many masks?
Interesting. You know what? I'm putting my first mask on tomorrow.
Oh.
I have yet to have to go anywhere, but tomorrow I have to wear my first mask.
Ooh.
So, you know what I think we should do? First of all, I want to introduce you to everybody.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. But don't you think we need a drink?
I would love a drink. Yes, let's do a drink. Sure.
Dirty martinis?
That's right. And you know what? I knew that I would be chatting with you today and that we would have some kind of dirty martinis. So I went ahead and stuffed some blue cheese inside some olives.
Woo!
So I wanted to make sure, and one just fell out, so I won't eat that one. But yeah, I got a little blue cheese, so let's do it.
All right, baby. Everybody else, we are drinking dirty martinis with Emmy award-winning Jay Rodriguez from Queer Eye for a Straight Guy. Jay also starred in the Broadway hit Rent, and he played Angel. So he's going to talk to us a little bit about that. We're going to drink some martinis together.
You know what's so crazy now? Literally, Mary Beth, at this point in my career, I'm just the guy who periodically pops up on your television with no warning.
Cheers, love.
That's probably about right. Hold on, I was going to make it on camera and then I'll do a little...
Oh, I love that. I just didn't want to shake mine.
Oh, gee, yeah, no, because then you dilute it. Although, based on my pour. So I'm just going to add a little vermouth just to the glass.
Ooh, I did that same little... Ooh, let me see.
But I've chilled the glass, so...
Oh, you got me beat, baby. I did not chill my glass.
Okay, see, this is what thank God for the Queer Eye training. Good Lord, I feel like they really drilled it into me.
I love that. You just taught me a new trick. You know, when you stock up on all your food in the freezer with this COVID-19 thing going on, we're going to have to remove some things. I'm going to have to cook a lot so that I have
Isn't that funny? That's right. I was literally negotiating I was playing Tetris with my freezer, trying to figure out what goes where. Pardon my shake. I am going to dilute it because I went a little heavy with the pour because I thought
I'll shake with you.
All right, fantastic. This was actually a goodbye gift from the guy over at Channel Q. Our program director Brian gave me this beautiful martini set.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, it was lovely. A nice little parting gift. On your way out, there you go. Oh, there we go.
Hey, at least you got a gift, right?
Oh, I love a gift. Yes.
Yep. I actually sent you something. It's coming on a specific date. I think it's like a week from Monday.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I know. I'm so excited too. All right, ready?
Yes. Cheers. Hold on.
Cheers.
I'm going to a nice little setup here I got in the bedroom because I wanted to make it nice and pretty. Okay, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers, lovey.
Cheers. Mmm.
Mmm.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
I think I'd like that chilled martini glass. I'm going to have to work on that. Up my game. Thank you for giving me some Queer Eye for a Straight Guy.
You've been cooking a lot on camera. You've been sharing that. Do you normally cook this much?
Well, honestly, we do go out to dinner a lot because we are huge, huge supporters of all of our local chefs and restaurants. And we've been, in fact, the genesis of me doing this, It's What's Cooking, the first day I did it, it was really to express my love for all of our chefs, restaurants, bartenders, artists, musicians. You know, I was reaching out to you. You know, you guys aren't making money when you're not able to perform.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I know I think about that all the time. I think about our bar staff, our favorite bartenders, our bar backs, all the 1099 employees who were, you know, living okay within their means, but, you know, now don't have a way to work because their primary source of income was around crowds of people. So it's scary, but you know, it's good that you're doing this because it's nice to kind of uplift spirits and have a little cocktail and stay connected. And I like that you've made the differentiation between social distancing. You call it physical distancing, and I think that's so great.
I love that you picked up on that. I think that social distancing thing is such a bad thing for our heads.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so many ebbs and flows that people are going through right now as far as psychologically. You know, I feel it's super important to stick to a schedule.
Yes.
You know, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even on Sunday, I'm setting my alarm.
Yeah.
Because I feel it really helps. But yeah, I've been cooking a bunch. You know, I want to kind of brag about you for a few minutes, if you don't mind.
No, listen, I never mind a brag.
Okay, so for all of you that are watching, as I mentioned, Jay was one of the Fab Five, and he was the tell us
culture guy.
The culture guy.
Here, you know what's so funny, Mary Beth? They were getting rid of some of. We wrote a book which became a New York Times bestseller, and they were getting rid of some because they had some in storage. The producers. So I just went ahead and collected one in every color of our old book.
Oh my gosh!
And it sits in our old telephone because we live in a 1950s building. That's where the Emmy goes.
What's that, Jay? What's that?
That's my Emmy for the Queer Eye and the whole bit. And yeah, and I will say, you know, it's so interesting because when we did the show, there was no, at that point, host category for unscripted programming. And so when the show won Outstanding Reality Series, we each won. Generally speaking, when a show wins, they just give it to the producers, right? So let's say Modern Family wins Best Show. The cast can come up, but they're not getting a trophy. So this is what's so bizarre is this new cast. I believe, having been on Queer Eye, that if you're on Queer Eye, you're a producer, but you're also the talent. I believe, in my opinion, based on my experience. So this cast, this new generation, their show has won twice. They don't personally each have an Emmy. So I've been very vocal because I am an Emmy voter for that category and a member of the Academy. So I've been very vocal that I feel that the work they do needs to be re-examined, and I feel like they need to be eligible for Emmys when the show wins because they are producers. They're coming up with their own content.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
That's my personal opinion on that. You listen, basically because when I left Queer Eye in 2006, the show was over. We did 100 episodes. I started doing other programming, other kinds of TV shows, and I can mirror the work I did on Queer Eye with other work that I did as a producer and talent. And I know the difference, and I've had these conversations. They're hard to have, but I feel like, you know, as we evolve and now we have different kinds of entertainment, including what we're doing now, streaming. There will eventually be awards for stream. Well, there are the streamies, but there's different kinds of awards, and not that we place all our weight in awards, but I really do personally believe that the new cast, they all deserve to have a trophy. Actually, I might go ahead and make them something so they can have it on their mantle.
I think that would be awesome to do.
I just love them so much. Yeah, they're great guys.
You know, speaking of the other Fab Five, this might be a good segue into that news you have coming up.
Oh yeah, so we did Family Feud in February. It's not going to air for a little bit yet, but we're actually shooting. I thought we were going to have like this big Zoom party with them. It turns out we're actually shooting a scripted, fun commercial to advertise it. So when it airs, I'll make sure to send it out so you can show everyone. But lo and behold, look what I kept from Family Feud.
Family Feud? How cool!
I do that. Do you collect things from different events? Like just a little something. I collect a little something from everything. You know, I have a hard time parting with things that I have a special connection to.
My garage has like an entire event center in the garage.
Yeah.
So, and you know where you and I first met
Yeah.
were in the Emmy gifting suites like 10 or 12 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And we connected, and I think we met the next morning for breakfast.
We absolutely did. I mean, that's how that goes. I think, when we talk about this all the time. We are both in industries that are fast moving, and you always have to be forward thinking. I'm sure when your head hits the pillow at night, your brain is still going, because real estate is much like being an entertainer in many ways. You're selling someone's safe space. You're making it desirable, but you're also easing their anxieties around whatever issues. I mean, there's a lot going on that you have to think about. And I think, we just connected so quickly, and it was such a beautiful thing that I think we just got each other. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
And brought you to San Diego to help with a big event at the Museum of Photographic Art.
Which, by the way, if you're going to woo anybody to move to San Diego, take them to Balboa Park. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've romanticized, going for like a bike ride with like a special someone in Balboa, going to the koi pond or perhaps the botanical gardens. They even have a beautiful theater there. They also advertise for the Pasadena Playhouse. Like, it is just literally drenched with culture. And for me, I'm like, geez, where's my San Diego husband at? Is he on the speed? Maybe he is. Hello,
honey. I'm a good matchmaker.
You really are. Yeah.
I don't let you know that I'm connecting you. I kind of do it subtly, but I put you in the same room or maybe on the same screen together. You never know.
You never know. Actually, what's interesting is quarantine dating is quite interesting right now. People are actually doing. I did a first date on my IG, I think week 1 or 2, and it was really fun because we were nervous, and then he's a comedian, I'm an actor. I was like, let's just do it live and let people say what they want. It was so funny because we were actually finding out about each other in real time. And we forgot that we were even broadcasting because it just looked like a split screen, like FaceTime. It was really remarkable. We talked for 2.5 hours. It was crazy.
No way.
Yeah, and so, it was just really, really funny, and I think it's the new medium. Also, what a nice way to court before you actually meet someone and have to be up in their business.
You know what? Don't you think, like, everything about this, the other night when you and I were chatting for 2.5 hours
as we do,
FaceTime, and, it's like God's reset about how everybody has so many different opportunities. Our hearts are broken, and so we don't want anybody sick, we don't want anybody to die, we don't want anybody homeless or without a job or losing a business, and all of that is happening, and it's just breaks my heart every single day. And on the other side of that, there's all this good that's happening, where you're seeing people really step it up.
That's honestly, to be completely transparent, when I've seen people I did not expect or didn't know the compassionate, philanthropic part of them, I just knew them in one regard. And then you see them saying, hey, if you don't have money for food or for your kids or for whatever, and you need me to drop something off, no judgment, just privately DM me and your address. I'll safely, I don't care. I don't want you to pay me back. Just knowing there are people out there who feel this way. And honestly, for a bunch of people, I was very impressed that people were willing to come together in this time, because we don't talk about money with each other. We go to dinner, maybe people split the check. Sometimes you're like, I'll get it. Sometimes you'll get it. It doesn't matter. It all kind of works out. But in these times of crisis, you never know what people were saving for or what they were trying to do just to get to the next space in their life. And suddenly they're down and out, and you really get to see the beautiful part of humanity, sadly, during crisis.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, in so many different ways. You and I said the other night, it was Friday night, and we shared 2.5 hours together and got into these deep philosophical conversations that on a Friday night, you would have been out in Riho, I would have been out somewhere in San Diego, and now we're able to hang out together.
I will say, and we talked about that, this whole quarantine sadness and the reality of the death and the financial loss aside, it has made me re-examine the way I spend my time and really helped me kind of more focus on making stronger connections with the people that I, in my mind, believe matter, but I don't actively take a strong enough stance on connecting with them. And actually, to be honest, that actually going back to our little Family Feud moment, it goes back to my Queer Eye brothers, because we've never, ever, all 5 of us been in the same room. Well, maybe 6 years ago we had like a reunion, or was it, I remember how many years ago. It was on, Andy Cohen did a 1 hour with us, not on the Clubhouse, on a separate just Queer Eye reunion. That was the first time since our rap party.
Are you kidding?
No, because Kyan lives in Florida. Carson's between Pennsylvania and the city. Tom is in the city. Ted's in Brooklyn. I'm in LA. So they're never coming to my coast often enough. And even if I'm there in New York, we're still missing Kyan. So it was the first time, and it was pretty bizarre because we were all chatting and having this great time. And I remember pulling, I'm not going to say who, but I remember pulling one of the guys aside, and I was like, you have to respond to my text. I grew up thinking you were my older brother, blah, 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 blah. And he didn't mean to, but he was like, you know who really loves you? Ted really loves you, because Ted and I are pretty close. And I was like, you're pawning me off on the other brother? But I realized what I did to contribute to that. I have romanticized this relationship that we all had without putting the necessary work to stay connected in what's going on in their life. Because I have the younger brother complex. You know, I'm like, they're 10 years plus older than me. And I think I just kind of took for granted that they should always just be there for me. At some point, you got to start crossing, like, I think I get it from my mom. I was talking with her today, and we're kind of estranged, so it's kind of light conversation because of the pandemic. And I realized that she's one of those people that's like, well, they never asked to hang out. I'm like, did you ever ask to hang out? Sometimes it's up to you to be the person to make things happen socially.
Boy, well said. That is absolutely true.
Cheers.
Cheers to that one. That was profound, baby. I love it. So tell me what else is going on. There's something else you have.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff. Like, what I'm really excited about is that people are utilizing this time to continue staying connected and staying active with the causes that they care about. So I'm actually going to be connecting with Tom, my interior design brother from Queer Eye. He is doing an at-home, like, you know, with Tom show from his lake house in up near Schenectady in New York. And I'm going to be a guest on there on Sunday. So just go to Tom Felicia's Instagram. It's going to be, I believe, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. his time, which apparently is a good time to drink. But I'm going to be rolling out of bed. I'm going to try to find a way to make a comedic bit out of it, because that's my bedroom over here. So I thought I'd just like make some funny thing and have an eye mask on when he calls and a Bloody Mary. Tom is Bloody Mary King. Tom is the first person who introduced me to a Bloody Mary. We were at an airport. I was hungover. I was probably 24. And I was embarrassed because I wasn't comfortable drinking, and certainly not to excess at that point in my life. And having drank too much and having to be professional, get on a plane the next day, I was so embarrassed. And he knew I had glasses, and if I'm quiet, there's a problem. So they were like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Nothing." And he made me, or he ordered me a Bloody Mary, and I don't like gazpacho, so I was like, "Ew, that's gross." And he's like, "Just drink it," and I loved it. And I was like, wait, so he gave me this great backstory. The first time he ever got drunk, he basically threw a house party in his house, raided his parents' liquor cabinet, and put the trash out, you know, cleaned up, responsible, right? So they would never know. What he did not take into account is they were gone because it was a 3-day weekend, a holiday. There was no trash on Monday. So the parents come home, and there's all the bottles already in, like, so they know he's like drunk as fuck. So his mother goes upstairs and she's like, "Hi, Tom." He's like, "Oh, I don't feel good. I think I'm gonna stay home from." She was like, he was probably like, I don't know, 20, 19. He was home from college, and she was like, She was like, "Go ahead and drink this." Like, she brought him a Bloody Mary because she knew that he'd been drinking. He was so caught. Anyway, so it's just a sweet story. I always remember that. Yeah. So
how does he make a Bloody Mary? What's your secret Bloody Mary mix? Because I
like all the bells and whistles. I love a good amount of horseradish. I like it to be zingy, tangy, peppery. I want it to be like spicy enough where you can still drink it, but you feel the spice. I don't need to be choking with every sip. I do love have you gone to a place that has a Bloody Mary bar where you can do it yourself?
Yes, like with bacon and cappuccinos. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, sometimes it's trial and error. So you just got to go back up there and do another one, because you can get the last one quite right. Bye.
So Ballast Point, which is a local brewery here in San Diego and now is like huge, they have a Bloody Mary mix that you can buy, I guarantee you, in LA, and it's called Cutwater, the Cutwater brand.
Yeah, yeah.
Get that brand, and it's got just this good, thick substance. And we always get the spicy, but then Philip always adds like Worcestershire.
Philip is her husband, in case you do not know. Philip is her husband.
Filippo. He's right behind me. You know, Jay, I got to tell you a funny story. So there's this dear friend of mine, Darren, who works in our company, Coldwell Banker West, and Darren always calls Philip Fredrickson.
Okay.
And other people call him Filippo or Don Felipe. So I barely ever call him Philip. In the house, I'll be like, Philip Fredrickson, or hey, Don Felipe, or hey, Filippo. I literally barely ever call him by his name.
Yeah. I love that, though. It's like, and does he have names for you that you can share?
He calls me one name, and he's called me this name since the beginning, to the point that it's my license plate name.
Wait, hold on.
Okay. See if you can guess.
Well, because there's obvious plays on the fact. I don't know how, I mean, I'm assuming you've been a redhead for as long as I've known you. So I'm wondering if it's a play on that.
The uterus. From the uterus.
Great. So I'm wondering if he's like doing some kind of like I Love Lucy reference. Or like Ginger Goddess, or like I can't figure what he'd say. Okay,
so there's only one person on the planet that I allow call me Red, and her name is Ellen. She's my only one, and she is like this badass woman that does all these speeches all over the country about women and menopause. The V, baby, it's about the V. So Philip calls me Shine.
Miriam. I mean, you already did, but frickin' Miriam. Like, someone calls you Shine. That's great. Also, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Amber Washington, who's on this. Amber, this is a great shout out. He's like an incredible human. So when I was doing Malibu Country, hold on one second. I want to show you a visual with that. So when I was doing Malibu Country, it was a sitcom on ABC, which you can still watch on the ABC app. But ABC's parent company is Disney, or Disney owns ABC. I think that's what it is. Anyway, long story short, I was really excited when I got this show because it's multicam, meaning live audience. And so that feels like a play in front of a live audience. I came from Broadway, makes sense. And then the show consisted of an all-star cast. It was Reba McEntire. And then her mother was
on the show.
Yeah, her mother was played by Lily Tomlin, sitcom queen Sarah Rue, and then Jay Rodriguez. And now the kids on the show, Justin Prentice is on 13 Reasons Why. And this little one, Juliet, she's on like everything all the time now. They've grown up. This is like 6.5 years ago. But the craziest thing was, because Disney was the parent company, they offered us Disney passes to go, and we'd have a VIP tour guide. And our tour guide, the first one we had, was this woman named Amber Washington. She served our country, so she's a veteran and fantastic, you know, just probably a couple of years younger than me, probably like a lot younger than me. I don't know. She's like in her early 30s, but she's just a fantastic human, and we just bonded so much. In fact, my roommate Mike and her are like besties, and it was such a blessing to have someone so profoundly great in our lives, especially during that chaotic time. But it was really cool because every time we'd go back with the kids on the show, or Mike and I, we're like, can we get Amber? And she no longer works there, but she's fantastic. She's taking care of both of my dogs. She keeps us sane and level, and I think it's good to keep people in your life like that around.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Hi, Amber. I hope I get to meet you someday.
Yeah.
Does she live in WeHo?
No, she lives in the valleys. Actually, I really love her. She has got a really great condo or apartment thing. I just went to go pick up my dog there. When I went to Puerto Vallarta, she babysat Rico for me. Where's Rico? Well,
Where's Rico?
Let's see if he's around. Hold on. They're a little sluggish now that it's really warm. Is it really warm where you are?
Oh my gosh, dude.
I'm sweating, and I have AC on.
So I was vacuuming. First of all, Mackenzie got a bath today. Chores, all kinds of stuff. Plus, we got a referral today, and we got 3 buyers today, like out of the blue. So all the stuff's going on, right? And I'm, getting dinner ingredients prepped because, I cook all the time. And I I looked at the thermostat. It was 79 degrees in the house.
Mm.
Whew. We
Yeah.
went from the furnace on to the air conditioning on in 24 hours.
Rico. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it comes. He's very picky these days, and that's warm. He's probably laying by the hey, buddy.
I'm so glad you got Rico.
I am really too, because this is Rico.
There you go.
I got my first dog when I first started Queer Eye, and he okay, yawning. He was probably asleep. I got my first dog. It was a Yorkie. Got him the beginning of Queer Eye when all of a sudden overnight crazy, and I need something to keep me grounded. Well, he lived to about 15 and a half years old, and I had to put him down not this fall, the fall before. So it'll be.
Sweetie, I lived through that with you.
Horrible.
Virtually, and my heart was breaking.
I mean, I was the guy who literally, when I saw people previous to my passing, and I saw that they had a passing with a dog, I was like, oh my God, it's an animal. Like, who cares? You don't know, and mothers say this all the time. You do not know parents' love until you have a kid or if you have a pet. And when you have a pet for that long, it is like an extension of a child. Immediately when I found out I had to put him down, every inadequacy as a parent came into mind. Every time I had left him for long trips, like, it just rushes through your mind. And that was my dog. I can't even begin to imagine those who've had several in succession. And, it's like, I appreciate him so much more, but the idea of having someone to care for is a beautiful thing right now, in the fact, I mean, you have a dog and you have chickens. Talk to us about your chickens.
I have chickens. I have the chickie chews. As soon as this is over, where are you coming?
Honestly, if they give us, you can only hang out with 10 people, you guys are 2 of my 10. So I'm going to just come. Because I ain't got nothing to do. So if I have to work, I'll just bring my camera and my lighting and we could just stream it together from your place.
Oh my God, that would be, seriously, you should come. I'm
sure our dogs would be best friends at no time.
Oh, Mackenzie needs a brother and a lover and a friend desperately. You know what I do with her every day? I play dog. So I have to do this. I run and I play and I chase her and she chases me. And I'm like, how many steps am I getting in, man? This is awesome.
Yeah.
And she lives in wait for little geckos, those little lizards. And I think we talked about this. She has got a memory.
Because Nemo, Rico's, that's what happens when you have 4 letters and they sound similar. Nemo, Rico. Rico I've only been around him in dog parks, so I don't know what he would be like in a yard when he had access to wildlife. But we know that he likes squeaky toys. He loves the lamb chop. Do you guys know about do you have the lamb chop? You ever had that for any of your dogs?
Yep.
Yeah. The lamb chop is very popular around here.
Yeah.
And he has certain ones and then he likes tug of war, and he loves fetch.
Oh, does he fetch back?
He will, anything you throw and you say bring it back, or if you say get the ball, he'll get if you lay down a toy and the ball and you say get the toy, he'll get the toy. He won't get the ball when he says it's bizarre. And I didn't know this. So
Rico
about him, because I
is unlike a Westie. A Westie has westitude or attitude, major westitude. She'll look at you talk to the paw, baby. Talk to the paw. So because of the little gecko, she goes into your room, Jay's room right now.
Yeah.
She's a little quarantine dog at the moment. Because if a gecko is outside the door, a little lizard, she'll flip out. Oh my God, let me out.
Yeah.
So tell me about that you've got something else coming up. Something on 3 letters, HBO.
Yeah, HBO. HBO Max is the new streaming platform for HBO. So basically they want to continue the HBO high level of content on their new app. So you have what do we have now? Disney Plus and Apple Plus and all that kind of stuff. This is HBO's version of that. So it's really exclusive content that is featuring shows that have been hand selected and handcrafted that they really want to tell the right story for. So HBO has always been, it's an acronym for home, for home box office, right? So it's essentially watching great content you could only see elsewhere, but in the privacy of your own home. Think about it, Game of Thrones, any of the programming, Sex and the City, it's just really good, shiny, crisp programming. So there's this incredible new series. It's a 4-part miniseries called Equal, that I'm a part of, which is a scripted series about unsung queer heroes of the 1960s, many of which I'd heard of but didn't know the full backstory. And what's so great about it is playing someone that people know, that people are still living who knew this person. I play Jose Sadia, who was considered one of the big civil rights activists for the LGBTQ plus community starting in San Francisco in the early 60s, when if you were gay, the police were raiding your bars. If you were seen kissing, they were raiding the bars. If you're cross-dressing, they were raiding the bars. All those things were kind of somewhat illegal. And if not, you were just so scared to be outed at the time because you were legally allowed to be fired if your employer found out you were LGBT. So he really spoke up, and he fought for, he actually was, he was the first LGBT activist to run for public office. He didn't get elected, but he almost did. Harvey Milk shortly after became the first out gay person to become elected for public office. But his contributions to this society called the Imperial Court, and he basically said, I don't want to be a drag queen, I want to be an empress. And I don't want to just be any empress, because at the time people were throwing that name around. She created this persona for herself, the Widow Norton. Now here's the crazy story about this.
The Widow what?
The Widow Norton. Edward
okay.
Norton was a eccentric in the 1800s that people in San Francisco know about. He basically was this wild, crazy guy. He even printed his own money. He was just like a kook who moved over here from another country, who like, imagine this, like the pictures of him are just wild because it's like black and white and stuff. He was just like an eccentric. And she just thought, well, listen, I'm doing what he was doing in his era, except I'm doing it for good or whatever. And so she took his last name and she called herself the Widow Norton for a while. Well, people were like, listen, if you're really committing this whole freaking act, you should go to his grave. You know, it's in a public park that's protected. So they went there in a limo and like in a black dress with a veil and everything. This is again like in the late 60s, 70s, early 70s. So she goes there and the park officials are like, they stop them and they're like, ugh! And they're going to the car in the flashlight and they're like, who are you? Who are you? And they go to her and they're like, who are you? And she goes, well, I'm the Widow Norton. I'm Edward Norton's late wife. That's not chronologically possible, but they just got such a hoot out of it that it's become an annual thing, and now they go there every year. But what he started was the Imperial Court, which is basically a philanthropic fundraising charity that really rose to fame during the 70s and 80s for raising money for the LGBTQ plus community to pay for the right advertising and to get lawyers and things to help people out of prison. But not just that, it was really about moving the message forward about LGBT acceptance. And the cool thing was it was raising money for those who were sadly dying during the height of the AIDS crisis, when their families had disowned them and they didn't have a way to bury their friends. They didn't have a way to have a financial wake for their friends. And to this day, it's considered one of the first early modern fundraising organizations in this country. Now there's over hundreds of chapters all over the US that are doing the great work for their local communities. So it was great to play that character. That was long-winded, but also I've had a martini. So
you're playing that character.
Yeah, and it was incredible because he has a very specific speaking voice that doesn't sound anything like mine. He kind of, the way he talks, it was like almost like a they called it mid-Atlantic. He had like a mid-Atlantic like movie star accent because the audio I was listening to was from 1960. So you imagine if he was in his 20s then, what film stars he would have if he was a drag persona. Some of the audio is him drag, some of him's out. But the way he spoke was like a 1950s film star.
So did you have
that? Yes, I had to listen over and over and over, and then I even had to sing. He would sing "God Save Us, Nelly Queens." So it was it's like it's our not our national anthem, but it's like a da 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 da. I sing. Well, he rewrote it. That whatever that song is, that's part of our heritage as Americans.
Whoa.
So he wrote, God save us, Nelly Queens, God save us, and it was very that, so I had to like sing like that. God save us, Queens, from every mountainside, long may we live and die. God save us, Nelly Queens, God save us, Queens. and it was a whole thing, and you're shooting it so beautifully, but you're thinking he was singing this in a divey bar where at any moment he could have police come in and beat him with a bat. So you're trying to like equal both parts of it out, and it was just amazing. So thank you, HBO, for that opportunity.
So when is that going to air?
So I don't know, because they only got through, it's a 4-part miniseries, and they only got through 2 parts of it. So until there's a time where we can gather socially, and by the way, we shot all my footage, which this new series features queer icons, like Sarah Gilbert from Roseanne, and so many other people that you're like, oh, and they're playing actual people who lived in the 1960s. We did 2 parts of it, but I shot like the first weekend of the isolation, of the social of the quarantine thing. So they were like, listen, we're going to wrap out Saturday, and I know you're supposed to shoot Monday, but we're closing production down on Monday. Can we bang all your scenes out on Saturday? And so we shot for like 14 hours and just did all my scenes so that they could finish, 2 episodes. So my thought is maybe they'll air them separately as different little things, because they stand alone. I don't think
like
there's
a little
bleed
teaser?
over. Yeah, and then maybe air the rest later. But also I remember what it was like to have people wear a mask and put makeup on you with gloves, and just like, it was such a bizarre experience to go from, and then I would sing the song at the front, and then I put on a mask. Like, it was just very bizarre. So,
wow.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so surreal to even think that, Hollywood is shut down, Disneyland is shut down, all of our musicians, our actors, all of you are shut down right now.
Yeah, and so, but I think people are turning to streaming and trying to figure out a way to make it creative content that doesn't feel reductive of what you've seen me do before. So if you see me at a show at Martini's, let's use San Diego as an example, I don't want to do a show where it's less than the caliber of what I would have done there, right? Just because I'm home, I've got many things around me that can make it interesting,
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about when you might do your next, live
Yeah,
stream.
so I'm thinking I may do next Thursday. I'm really excited about it, but I want to do, I like giving people an opportunity to kind of take this journey with me. So I think I may do it on streaming from my Facebook Live, because that seems to be the easiest platform. And I want to do what I always do, is just kind of craft a bit of a story and then have the songs come in and work through the story. So I'm like playing myself, of course, but almost like a heightened persona that's scripted. Or if I had a writer and a producer here, what would they tell me to do if I said, here are the 6 songs I want to sing? How can I utilize this space to make it cinematic for the viewer? So that's my goal always, is to make it, And God bless my poor roommate, because he's had to deal with all this craziness.
Like moving things.
Me running around and being like, glitterized. And last night I hosted a wig party, which was really fun. And I mean, honestly, at some point I was like, really, you're like serving. This room was very dark. I had a ring light here so you could see my face. There was the purple extended much higher, and I had neon green lasers. So and I had a fan, because I had a wig on. No makeup or anything, but just like a fan. And they're
So
like,
the hair
we're
was
literally waiting for tonight. I'm going to text you the picture so you can see it. But it was so hilarious. Oh my
I
God.
have to see it. I have to see it.
Okay, Carrie, keep talking. I'll see if I can try to reenact it for you right now. Hold on.
Oh, we have to see it. That is so awesome. So Jay also has appeared in Grace and Frankie, and a couple weeks ago he was in The Rookie with this crazy role that he played.
Were you shocked by that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
You and I talked about that leading up to it, and the intensity of what you had to do, and the difficulty. But
it was fun. I had a good time. That was a good one. That felt rewarding. There's times where you do work, and it's survival work. It's work that you're doing because of the paycheck, and then there's other times where you're like, geez, I'm so glad that I get to do this part, because it's not something that maybe would have been offered to me, but I fought for that one. I wanted that one.
How's Nathan?
Fantastic. He gave me, I don't have it. He gave me a portable, wireless, waterproof US like a Bluetooth speaker as a gift, and like sent me this nice card. It was just like, it was so lovely. I was like, who the hell does this? That's a true star. Like, he was so generous with his time.
I love. You know what though, Jay? You are too. You are so.
I think we came through the same school of where it's just, you're grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, you are extremely giving of your art, your talent, and most importantly, that heart of yours. You are extremely giving. And I just
Because I
love,
believe
love,
that.
love that about you.
But I think like attracts like. I think you're the same way in so many ways, and I think that's, you know, we like attracts like. We find people that make sense for us, that are part of our tribe, you know, that are equally as kind. You know, I'm trying to set this up so it's fun. Okay, hold on. So we are gonna do something I've
Okay.
never done before. This is really funny. Okay, hold on.
Okay,
I
do
gotta
it,
think this
baby.
is the right. All right, so we gotta look up the. Yeah, so last night there's this bar in West Hollywood that does this night called Wig Wednesdays. And it's just basically everyone just comes showing up wearing a wig, not in drag. I mean, you can if you want, but no one does. Everyone just shows up wearing a wig. It's just funny. It's a conversation starter because you're like, where did you find this? Or like, why'd you wear that? It's just funny and cute. So, hold on. I gotta type this in.
The hairdressers
Okay.
are going to be so busy when we get released from staying at
I'm
home.
like, I've already told my best friend, who is a hairdresser, I was like, you need to figure out a system when you find out that things are going to be lifted, because with your clientele, I'm like, he does so many of the boys, the fades and I'm like, everyone's going to want a haircut.
And
He's
hopefully
like,
they're all practicing like wrist exercises and elbow exercises and finger
God
things
bless.
because they're going to be working 24/7. Are you ready?
Agreed. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Hold on.
Okay.
I don't have the lasers, but you can imagine. Oh shit. That's the
Well, I'm
track.
digging the music.
Hold on, wait. No, this is what I needed. Oh shit! Hold on. Hold on. I by accident looked up the actual backing vocal, but that's not what I needed. I need the actual song. So we're just finding it now. 2 seconds, typing in the words. This is what happens. This is what happens after one martini. Oh, how funny! It's the
It's
first
a
thing.
darn good blue cheese olive.
Honestly, I'm starving for more.
Mm.
Okay, let's see.
I wish you were here so I could feed you.
Oh my god, yes. It's coming. Hold on.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Ah! Woo! I'm super jelly I don't have a wave or a fan machine.
Yeah, it was like very that last night. Everyone was like, "You look like Jayla." It was darker, so this looked a little darker, but yeah. And I have a
That
fan
is
here.
genius. Work it, baby, work it.
Anyway, so that was last night. It was very funny.
That is the best. Oh my god, I
And they didn't know it
love
was
that.
coming because I had a drawer, but like a luggage, I mean, luggage
lost
of
you
all
for a
these
second.
different wigs I've collected. So
That was brilliant and so good. Oh, what's that?
another one.
Ooh,
A little more like
how many wigs do you
millennial
have?
Instagrammer, probably about 20.
No way.
I've just collected them over time for different things, and I just held on to them.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
have
look
to
like a
get a few.
Pantene ad.
Ooh, I love that one. The whole look, you know. So I think I need a wind machine, right? Is that
All you
just
need is
a
a little
fan?
Vornado, just a little fan.
That really blows the hair, baby.
Yeah.
Super good. So you've also been on Grace and Frankie. Tell us what that was like. Like, come
I think it
on.
was a lesson in learning what an icon should behave like. You know, so many times I've done TV shows with great actors, but they were new, or all they know about acting is that you get treated well. And then and they didn't have the compassion or the wherewithal, and they were also kind of bitchy and mean. Whereas working on Grace and Frankie, it's actual icons. And they were all on set on time, all knew their lines. Lily and I obviously knew each other from another show, so she brought me around like I was her kid, which was lovely. And
Lily
I
did?
just, yeah, she's like, this is my Jay, and that was so sweet. But that's just kind of like who she is, and I think that show taught me that, you know, there's no attitude in show business. Like, just do your job and do it well, and treat everyone on set, everyone, with kindness, because on a set, generally, the attitude of what the vibe is on set, it trickles down from the top. So if the number 1 and 2, 3, 4 on the call sheet, the stars of the show, are generous and kind with their time, and they're just a kind set, everyone else behaves that way, because you're like, well, it comes down from the top. So that's very true in theater, and also very true in television.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because, you know, we talked about your heart and your kindness and being equal. And, you know, this is Fair Housing Month. And we were talking about Fair Housing Month. And again,
I didn't really know what it's for those who don't know, because I think fair housing, people are like, wait, I think I kind of get it. So what is that really? What is fair housing, if you had to really break it down?
So first of all, Fair Housing Month is 12 months a year, 365 days a year. It just happens to be the month. But basically, you know, like when you move to San Diego, which you're going to,
yeah.
It's, if you ask me about a neighborhood, for example, I can't give you insight on that neighborhood. You know, I can't give you specifics. I can tell you, you should Google it. You know, there's no discrimination.
Good.
Ever, including the fact that our company, Coldwell Banker West, we have a handwritten contract with Facebook, like a real live crazy way to do these ads that are different from Facebook ads. It's separated.
Sure. Yeah.
And because of the Fair Housing Act, we're only allowed to go a 15-mile radius, because they don't want us targeting or excluding.
Right.
Based on the Fair Housing Act. So it's always interesting, you know, if somebody wants to know the crime rate, for example, we can't tell them. We have to have them do the research
figure it out.
and Google
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait for you to someday see.
I know, you know, I think what I love about San Diego, and I say this all the time, but the drive-in is so intoxicating, because it's just so beautiful, and you really get a sense of like, wow, I'm near the water, and then you just start getting into that mindset already before you're even fully there. And there's just something so great about that. And also I just feel like the people, the lifestyle, it feels like it's really beckoning me. And I think that for a minute I was thinking Palm Springs would be a fun place to go. But to be honest, where I'm at now, it just seems like it makes so much more sense, San Diego.
It's like the small little city. Everybody knows everyone. You know what I was going to mention about your character that you played on Grace and Frankie? You were in the medical field.
I was a nurse,
And think about, like you portrayed that nurse, and you were amazing with Martin Sheen. He was having a heart attack, right?
Yes,
at the time. And now think about all of our first responders out there, right?
I do,
mean, what they're going through.
It's just, you know, wearing my mask. I have the dog, and so I live in a pretty populated neighborhood, so I do pass a bunch of people on the street who are also either walking their dogs or they're out exercising and stuff, and so we are practicing social distancing. But even when I come back, I have like lines on my, not lines, but like you can kind of see, and that's only like nothing. But I'm imagining if you are someone happens to be working in the medical field, and your PPE needs to be recycled, and you're really just trying to keep it on there, you can see the bruising and all the things that causes. And, you know, I've never known a profession outside of law enforcement or serving our country in the military or firefighters or anything like that, where every day more than ever before, you're walking into work knowing there's a high chance you may come away with something that you don't want. It's, you know, in this instance, it's corona. We've never had that to be such a high rate. And it breaks my heart when I hear stories about nurses, and it's generally nurses who are taking the biggest hit, it seems, and physicians also who are becoming infected, and some of which we've lost, sadly. And that's just such a mind-boggling thought. You know, they really are the true heroes right now.
And the fact that I saw a couple different videos that a doctor was physically in his garage, living, sleeping, because he could not go in his house because he didn't want to put risk on his family.
So both of them are doctors, and one person is taking care of the kids, and they're both physicians, the father and the mother. And so, you know, like they have a family. They're basically trying to social distance from the kids. Like, she can't hug her own kids, and one is sleeping in one side of the house, the other one's sleeping downstairs, because they don't want to cross-contaminate, and they don't want to contaminate the kid. It's just bizarre, you know, and shocking. And, you know, you think about what, not only their sacrifice, but also what this does to the kids, and how it's tricky to explain this to children, to understand the magnitude of what mommy and daddy are sacrificing in their lives, and the kids' lives as well. But it's just such a bizarre thing. Yeah.
I mean, again, it's the level and the depth of all the different things that we don't think about. You know, somebody posted the other day about the floral industry, the fishermen, you know, that have all this fish that typically they sell to restaurants.
Yeah.
Now, in fact, we're having salmon tonight because we're able to buy, I mean, you know, we're trying to support everybody locally.
I just grilled some shrimp for put over salad before we started talking, so I did the same thing for the fish industry.
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
It's just
so what do you
bizarre.
have tonight? Tell me.
And oil, I was like, gas is so cheap. I wish I could fill up again.
I want to put a gas tank in our yard. Philip said yesterday that it was $1. Philip, what was gas yesterday?
$1.78.
$1.78. I think I was 4
years.
years old when gas was $1.78.
Yeah. I remember when it went over $1, I was like, oh my God, the end of the world.
And now, oh my goodness. Wouldn't it be amazing though if you could put like tanks on your land and you'd be able to pump your own gas for a while?
I'm sure some places you can. Well, it looks like we've talked for like an hour. Thank you for having me on your show. Where can people follow you if they want to watch this again? Because you have different guests, so, and you know, whatever. So where can they find you?
Well,
here, I guess you promote this. You promote your Facebook stuff here as well, right?
I do. Okay. And I love the fact that you spent, you know, Jay, I swear to God, it was an hour. It felt like it was 15 minutes.
I know, that's how it is.
You and I we can kibitz like there's nobody's business. So yeah. I am grateful to you. I thank you. MB Kellee is my Instagram page, and it's Kellee. And then my Facebook is my name.
There we go. Well, I love you so much. Thank you for the martini time, and stay safe, and I will see you soon.
So we're going to stay physically distancing while staying socially connected. Virtually.
I love it.
Virtually.
Love you.
See you, sweetie. Bye, babe.